Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is the final TBR selection for the year of 2025. And honestly, I debated whether or not I wanted to do one for December just because I do want to get through all of these before the end of the year. This is the rest of the books that I have on my Clear the Cart challenge that I started a few months ago, that these were books I absolutely wanted to get through by the end of the year. Am I going to get through all of these? I don't know. I'm really hoping to. So I figured I would at least do this, pick my normal 12 books and focus at least on getting through those. The holiday season makes it very difficult to read, but I'm going to do my best. Just an update on the Clear the Cart challenge. I have finished all of my arcs and I have replaced a few books that I originally put as options in the original Clear the Cart where I read through all of them. So I did get another arc that I needed to read by the end of the year. So I did add that one on. I also added on a fall book, Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice, that I got from Barnes & Noble. It was like a $5 book. So I added that on because I wanted to read that. I've added Good Spirits, Holiday Ever After, and The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year as well, because those are books I do want to get to for the holiday season. So that is 5 books that I have added to this list. So therefore I am removing 5 books, and that is Crown Tide, Brimstone, Fortress of Ambrose, Every Spiral of Fate, and Grimm and Oro. So those books are no longer on here. The only other book I may not get to that I did remove from this cart is Releasing 10. I'm just not in the right headspace to read that right now, so I removed it from the cart. I may get to it, I don't know. Right now it's focused on these, but that is where I stand with that. So I did remove 5 books, but I did also add 5 books. So the number has stayed the same. I just replaced some books just because of the holiday season, and I hope to finish those books, which were all part of a series, early next year. So let's hope for that. So that's the update on the Clear the Cart challenge. These are the remaining books. The holiday books are on the back. And then I do have Gloves Off, which is the one non-physical book that I don't have. So without me yapping anymore, because I've been talking for a while, we're going to pick our 12 books that I will for sure be reading by the end of the year. And then hopefully I'll get through as many more on this as I can. But this video is just too fun to not do, right? So let's pick our first prompt. No people on the cover. Okay. This Guy on Fire does not have people. Neither does The Courting of Bristol Keats, The Trader's Kiss, The Hand on the Wall, The Winners. There's a lot of these that don't have people. That has people. But I think I'm going to pick between one of these because I definitely want to get through these by the end of the year. I'm probably going to end up picking both of these at some point, but which one do I want to pick for this? I think I'm going to go with The Courting of Bristol Keats for this first selection because I really do want to get to this because the sequel comes out soon. I'm hoping Fairy Loot does the other book. They have not said anything yet, but this is from the same author that wrote the Dance of Thieves duology, and I believe this is going to just be a duology as well. But it just says, never make a deal with the Fae. After losing both their parents, Bristol Keats and her sisters struggle to stay afloat in their small, quiet town of Bowes Keep. But when Bristol begins to receive letters from an aunt she's never heard of, who promises to help, she discovers that everything she thought about her family is a lie. Her father might even still be alive, kidnapped by terrifying creatures from another realm. So she makes a deadly bargain with the Fae leader, Tigan. Heart-wrenching love story, spans worlds and decades. So this was her adult fantasy fiction debut. I thought this was still YA, but I'm excited to read this. I've had it for close to a year. I think I got this last November. So that'll be book number 1. All right, prompt 2. Favorite author. There's one on here that I think I like more than the rest, just because I've read a ton of his books. So I think I could go with Frederick Bachman too, but like Stephen King is like one of my OG favorites, and I really want to read Misery during the month of December. So I do want to make sure this gets put as a primary priority book. So I think this was a pretty quick one. I'm going to go with Stephen King's Misery, which I believe is about an author who is like living out in the middle of nowhere and has finally met his biggest fan. Her name is Annie, and she's dismayed to discover that he plans to kill off Misery Chastain, the heroine of his beloved series. So she's his nurse tending to his shattered body after a automobile accident, and is also she's also his captor, imprisoning him in her isolated house where no one knows who he is. Yeah, I think she goes a little crazy. That's all I really know. I know this has been made into a movie, and my parents have really liked it because I forget her name. It's escaping me. Was in it, and I do really like her as an actress, and I can't think of it. Kathy Bates. I really like her, so I may eventually watch the movie, we'll see, but that is book 2. Trying to keep this as brief as possible because we all kind of know that I'm going to try to read as many of these as I can anyway. Prompt number 3 is a beautiful cover. The ones sticking out to me are Reign of Rose and the Goddess of the River, which I'm struggling to get out. The Goddess of the River. I think these are both beautiful in their own way. This one obviously is like I believe, slightly different than the original cover, but I think these are both really pretty covers. I think I'm gonna go with the Goddess of the River for this. I really wanted to this is like my oldest Illumicrate book. This is the first Illumicrate book I ever got, so I really do want to read this by the end of the year because I do not want to take it into 2026 with me. But I believe this is a retelling of Ganga, and I think it's something like she passes her curse onto her son, and then he makes an oath that will he'll never claim his father's throne, and it sets into motion a chain of events that will end in a terrible, tragic war. And I think it's like they keep getting, like, her and her son keep getting drawn together and apart and together and apart, and I think it's just like a mother's story. It's pretty much what I've understood of this. I don't 100% know. I haven't really heard anybody talk about this, but this was my first. This was when I got off the wait list, so I did not get a choice on what book, if I wanted to skip or whatever, but I think I could really end up enjoying it. Sometimes I enjoy, like, the retellings, the reimagining. Sometimes I don't. So I do want to give this a shot and just make a decision on it before the end of the year. So I think this is a good one to put on here. And the cover is stunning. The sprayed edges are stunning. So it fits the prompt. The inside art is also really gorgeous. Okay, prompt number 4. This one was already kind of open. Over 400 pages. I don't think that's going to be hard to do. So that one's over 400. The Bridge Kingdom's over 400. I think most of these will be. This is not. This probably is. Yes. Yes. Me just pulling every single book off of here. Yes. Okay, so most of these are. The two that I'm really between are definitely The Winners and A Reign of Rose. I didn't even check The Winners, but yeah, this is like 600 pages long. And A Reign of Rose, because they will finish a series for me. And based on what I have right now on the TBR, I think I want to go with Beartown's final book, because this is also older as well. So I think for over 400 pages, we're going to go with Frederick Bachman's The Winners. And this is just the final book in the Beartown series. I really can only talk about the first one because I don't want to get into what the rest of them are about, but it follows a town that is very entrenched in its hockey culture. And in the first book, a tragedy happens and the town kind of has to decide like what side of history they want to be on, and they all have to kind of make some really hard choices. and I thought it was a beautifully told story, and I've enjoyed the series so far. So I'm very excited to see how it concludes with the winners, because I love Frederick Bachman. Everything he writes is amazing. So for over 400 pages, we have the winners. Okay, prompt number 5. Nature on cover. I could have picked the winners for that. That's okay. I mean, I've got a lot of options for this too. Pretty much all of these have somewhat type of nature. That has trees, that has mountains. Flowers, flowers, flowers. No, no, yes. Flowers. Yeah. So I can go with anything, but the two that I'm between the most are the Four Winds, which has like wheat on it. That's nature. And Claire Mackintosh's A Game of Lies, which has like the mountains and like a lake, I think, on it. And I think I'm going to go with this just because I don't have a thriller yet, and this was on my summer TBR. I want to get it done before the end of the year as well. I mean, all of these books. I'm going to continue to say that. I really am going to try to get through all of these, but I don't know what the holiday season's going to bring. So to make sure that I get a thriller, because I lied, I have Misery, but this is the time of year that I want to read thrillers, so you can just keep piling them on. It's fine. But yeah, this is about a group of people stranded in the Welsh Mountains. They're on a reality show, and each of them has a secret. If they can guess the truth, they won't be... If another player can guess the truth, they won't just be eliminated, they'll be exposed live on air. The stakes are higher than they ever imagined, and they're trapped. The disappearance of a contestant wasn't supposed to be part of the drama. So Detective Morgan has to put aside what she's watched on screen and find out who these people really are, knowing she can't trust any of them. So, I've been wanting to read that. I got that at an ARC. It was another one of those books I got at that ARC, what do I want to call it? Fundraiser last spring. So, trying to get through those as well. And I believe that's older. I think the Four Winds is a little bit newer on my TBR. So, halfway mark with prompt number 6. Flowers on the cover. Got a lot of options for this. Very similar to nature on the cover, but flowers. Long Shot has a flower on the cover. The Bridge Kingdom has flower on the cover. A Reign of Rose obviously has roses on the cover. You Said I Was Your Favorite, If We Were Perfect. The Trader's Kiss. So these all have flowers on the cover. 3 of them finish a series. 3 of them start a series. So we're probably going to go with the 3 that finish a series, because I'm going to be responsible. And that is one of these 3. And I think I'm going to do A Reign of Rose by Kate Golden, because it's come up more than once already on this TBR as an option, and I really want to see how this concludes. I've read this entire trilogy this year, so it'd be nice to kind of knock it off. I think this was on my list of series I wanted to finish in 2025 as well. So, killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. So for flowers on the cover, we have A Reign of Rose. And this is just the final book in the Sacred Stones trilogy. It starts with A Dawn of Onyx. I completely blanked. Starts with A Dawn of Onyx. And it's about this girl who has like healing powers and is taken from her kingdom to the Onyx Kingdom to serve that king. And there's so much betrayal and so many twists and turns and everything in this. And there's obviously a love story. And I've just adored the 2 books I've read so far. And I'm very excited to see how she ends this. And she does have a new series starting next year. So it'll be good to get this one done so that I can go into the next one fresh. Not that I need to start another series right now. We're going to be so much better about that in 2026, everyone. That is one of my goals. We're not going to start new series until I finish some of these other ones. Prompt 7 is a standalone. Yikes. I think I've got a few options. We've got Enigma, I believe is a standalone, Don't Come For Me. The Four Winds, My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologizes, and Cleopatra and Frankenstein. And we also have Any Trope But You, which is just a standalone romance. That, like, I don't think I'm gonna go with that one. I think we're gonna go with Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I've been really wanting to read one of Coco Malore's books, and I do want to read Blue Sisters eventually too. It just came out in paperback, so I do want to pick that up, but I wanted to make sure that I liked her writing before I bought another one of her books. So I think this will be a great kind of different book to read in the month. It's about, like, I think this couple that gets married impulsively, and I think there might be like an age gap. Yeah, 20-year age gap, and they just have like this kind of messy, weird relationship, marriage, and it's just about them dealing with it. So it's hilarious it is as hilarious as it is heartbreaking. I swear I can read. Entertaining as it is deeply motivating. Cleopatra and Frankenstein is a painfully relatable debut about the spontaneous decisions and imperfect relationships that shape entire lives. So, looking forward to that one. Prompt, I think this is number 8. I've lost count. We'll count the books after this one. Place in the title. Hopefully, I have one of these. The Bridge Kingdom? Is that what it is? It's got kingdom in the title? Yep. Yep. Okay, so that's a place. I don't think any of these other places are, other ones are places. Is enigma a place, or is that just being used like as the word enigma? Yeah, it's just being used as the word enigma. Okay, so we have The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. Oh, this is a 6-book series. I think it's like, it's going to be 3 duologies put together, almost like The Crowns of Nyaxia. No, not almost, exactly like The Crowns of Nyaxia, and the 6th book does come out in 2026. So if I start this might be a goal to finish these in 2026. I don't know much about this, other than it's a fantasy romance with like a badass FMC. So it says, I think it might be with the king of the Bridge Kingdom. So it's like enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers. That's all I know. We're going to find out together. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have read that book. I am not even close to being on top of that series, because I did read her Saga of the Unfated and I loved that. So I'm hoping that this brings that same energy, and I'm happy that I'm catching up on it and starting it when it's about to be finished, so that I won't have to wait forever, because I can't keep waiting years in between these series. My brain cannot keep all of this information clear up here. So, prompt 9, a weapon on the cover. If you can see that. Is a dragon a weapon? Could be. Could be. Nope. That's a clock. Is she holding a weapon? Girl. How dare you? No. No. Oh, this one does. That might be our only option. Yep. Okay. So that's easy. This is our only option. The Traitor's Kiss by Erin Beatty. This is a YA fantasy romance. And I picked the... God, this writing is so small. Why? Anyway, I picked this up on a whim. Probably about a year ago at Barnes & Noble. It is a completed trilogy, so if I like it, I can get the other 2 and complete it. But, yeah. Mary E. Pearson is blurbed on the back. It says, an obstinate girl who will not be married, a soldier desperate to prove himself, a kingdom on the brink of war. I think I'm going to like this FMC, because she has a quicksilver tongue and an unruly temper. Girl, me too. And she's not what they call proper lady. Preach. So she kind of is a little bit of a spy, too. and she's recruited by a handsome soldier to infiltrate the enemy ranks. And the more she discovers, the more uncertain she is of whom to trust, and she becomes caught in a dangerous balancing act that will determine the fate of her kingdom. So this sounds pretty cool. I think it was rated relatively well when I looked it up on Goodreads. So The Traitor's Ruin and The Traitor's Kingdom are the second and third book, and the covers are really pretty too. So this does have a knife on the cover, so that does fit weapon on the cover. All right, 3 more. So this is number 10. Excuse me. You go back in there. I picked like 17 of them. A person on the cover. How many series do I want to start? None of these have people. So these 2 have people. This technically has a person. This has a person. I'm going to do this one because I really want to read this book. Someone said if I liked the Dark Lord Dobby duology, which I did, that I would like this book. And I love a good, funny villain story. And that's what this is. I believe she wakes up in like her favorite fantasy world. But she discovers she's not the heroine. She's actually the villain. So very excited for this. And the second book does come out again in 2026. So it's a book that I can pick up and complete. I think it's just a duology. I don't actually know, but at least the next book comes out relatively soon into the year, and I won't have to wait too long once I read this one. So we're going to go with Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan. I've also had that one on my TBR. It was a Christmas gift last year, so it almost took me a year to get to it. We're not going to talk about that. All right, our penultimate one. Foil Uncover. I think this is only going to leave us with a few options. Any Trope But You. I don't know if that's foil. Wait, are we considering that foil? I'm asking like you can actually answer me. That's not foiled. That's a little bit. And this is, I don't know if I consider that foiled because it doesn't feel different. Okay. That's disappointing. See, you can see I've almost picked like all of the books. So we've got Pencole's Spark of the Everflame. Again, Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. And Any Trope But You by Victoria Levine. And I think for this, why not start another series? We're going to go with Spark of the Everflame by Pencole. I do want to know if I'm going to like this series. So I'm going to give the first book a try. I have matured. This is the only one I own. There's 2 other ones out. I don't know when the 4th one and the final one comes out. But I've only bought the first one. And we're going to see how I like it before I decide if I'm going to buy the other 2. That's called mature. So, yeah. We've got... I don't know anything about this other than some people really like the FMC and some of the people really hate her. So, in a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel, magic-wielding offspring, Diem Bellator yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer Diem an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of the Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, enigmatic heir watching her every move and a ruthless rebel alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, Diem will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. Okay, we'll find out. Again, mixed reviews. I feel like a lot of people really like this, and then the more that I see, the more people are like, I can't stand her. So I don't know. We'll find out. I'm just making a mess. And our final prompt, a seasonal book. Pull out the 2 that I've added. I'm going to read both of these, so it really doesn't matter. But we've got The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year and Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. And for shits and gigs, because I didn't really put that many romances on, we're just going to put Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. I don't know anything about this, but it's Hannah Grace and I trust her. So Clara wants to climb the ladder at her family's toy business, and everything was going according to plan until the company was accused of stealing doll design from an independent toy maker. So she has to like work on the PR nightmare. And then I don't really understand where Jack Kelly would be happy to never hear the name Davenport again. Less than a year after a guy in a fancy suit appeared on his doorstep with a sleigh full of promises, the company that once falsely claimed they wanted to sign him to their small business program has copied his design. Okay, that's where he comes in. So when Clara prances into town hoping to convince Fraser Falls that her company is not the enemy, Jack is determined not to be fooled by Davenport twice. So, a little bit of rivals to lovers there. Cute little Christmas toy thing. We'll see. That cover's adorable, but that'll be a fun little holiday endeavor. So we'll go over the 12 books one more time, real quick, in no particular order. Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. A Game of Lies by Claire McIntosh. Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan. The Traitor's Kiss by Aaron Beatty. Misery by Stephen King. The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. A Reign of Rose by Kate Golden. And The Winners by Frederick Bachman. Okay, so those are the 12 books that I will focus on reading in the month of December. And then the rest of these are ones I would love to get to, and hopefully we'll get to most of them, if not all of them, but we shall see. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what are on your plans for reading in December, and let me know if you've read any of these, and I hope to see you all in the next video.